PowerPoints help explain the main idea of your presentation. It serves as a visual representation of what you're saying. A bad use of a PowerPoint would be you reading off the screen. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to paraphrase off the PowerPoint, not just read off of it. It helps give the audience a better understanding of what you're saying. PowerPoints make great use of a visual aid. However, they can be a very bad use too. What separates a good and bad PowerPoint is the amount of words, pictures, graphics, and distractions on PowerPoint. You don't want any distracting transitions or pictures or images that don't correlate with the main idea of your PowerPoint. A good PowerPoint would have few words but still gets the point across. It wouldn't have distracting pictures or transitions, and it would contain factual evidence and graphics.
When you're using a video as your visual aid in your presentation, you're going to want to make sure of a couple things. The first is that it's concise. You probably want to shoot for the range of 30 to 60 seconds. If you go under this range, it's probably not going to have enough information to actually be useful in your presentation. And if you go over, there's probably going to be too much attention focused on the video instead of what you're actually trying to say. The second thing you want to do is have transitions for your video. You're going to want to have a way to lead in and lead out of it instead of just kind of being like, hey, we're going to play this video as a part of our presentation, because that speaks a lot more for your presentation and it'll allow you to use it a lot more effectively. And then the third thing for videos is you want to make sure it's on topic. Even if a video is like kind of talking about what you are, if it's not actually completely useful what you're doing, you probably don't want to use it. And if you're going to spend too much time of, like, say you have a timed presentation, if your video takes too long and it's not exactly what you needed, that's going to eat up a lot of your time that you could be relaying a lot more useful facts. So overall, just make sure you have a video that can go well into your presentation and that you transition in and out of it smooth and that it has enough detail for you to be able to use.
There are two kinds of props that you can have. There are good props and there are bad props. And a good prop is something that supports what you're talking about. So if you're talking about school supplies, like back to school, having like scissors or markers or like pencils are good things to have. But if say you're talking about dogs, having a screwdriver is not a dog. It doesn't represent a dog at all. So that's not helpful. So it's very important that you have objects that either completely represent what you're talking about or aid in what you're talking about.
Others can be a great example of a visual aid, like say with magic, how you always have someone there to help you out with transitions or understanding the overall concept. As you can see, this is an empty room. Now I'm going to close the door and hopefully something will appear. Adios.
So all in all, visual aids can be vast and wide and used as a very good tool for when you're doing speeches. Now, visual aids, when you have something actually on there, like a photograph, people tend to remember it 50% more than when you would use a bullet point after 3 days. You should use visual aids very sparingly because people will be more distracted by your visual aid than they are focused on you. And you should also talk to your audience instead of talking directly to the visual aid.